Welcome back to the Cable Data Science channel. Today is October 2nd, 2020. I'm getting ready to run my COVID-19 analysis for the country of Spain. Spain has certainly been struggling with cases, uh, although deaths are actually fairly low. Although the mortality rate, I believe, was fairly low yesterday when I checked it. So let's just go ahead and run the report for Spain. Make sure there's nothing down there else I need to change. There is a link to both the code and the data in the description below if you're interested in how these reports are produced. I will just say that the report is being produced using the data from European Center for Disease Prevention and Control, and I'm using the R programming language along with ggplot2 plotting library in order to an SQLite database in order to generate these reports. Okay, so let's see what we got here now. So this is the mortality rate. Okay, this is the average mortality rate, the red line here. And what you can see is Spain is pretty consistently now above this line. Okay, you do have a few days, so clearly, so what they're at is 2%. Well, I would say that, yeah, while 2% isn't good, I'm not sure it's that much worse than any other countries in the EU. That's really the issue. How does this average mortality rate compare to other countries in the EU? Okay, let's look at daily plots. Now, of course, here's the other problem. They don't record any numbers on Saturday and Sunday. Saturday and Sunday's numbers are added into Monday's numbers. So all we can conclude here is that the numbers are going up. That's all we can say for certain. Okay, but you still have lots of numbers down here. Like this is 14,389 cases on 9/18, but over here on 10/1 it was 9,419. So in many ways, doing it this way is really hurting it's really skewed, in my opinion, it's really skewing the numbers for them. It's very hard to get an idea what's really going on in the country when you don't record. Now let's take a look at deaths. Deaths are a little tighter, not near as much volatility, and you can see that I would say that the deaths are what we got here, 34, 34, and down here we got 15, and this high here is 239. Okay, so so the deaths in many ways, aren't, to me, the deaths don't really reflect the number of cases that they have. I would expect to have a much larger, more deaths, than they actually have. Uh, yes, 239 deaths is not good, but you know, how many people die a day outside of uh, deaths? And actually, the New York Times actually asked that. They actually asked that question. What is the they have a set of data called excess deaths, and it looks at the difference between the average, number of deaths we would expect normally on a day like today, and the actual number of deaths that occurred. Okay, that makes any sense at all. But here we're zooming in. So this goes from June all the way up. You can see nice tight numbers here, and as it goes along, this volatility continue. It shouldn't be going on this type of pattern. I don't think. I mean, so all we can look at really is this right here. Okay. And so deaths are continuing to go up. So we need to look at, well, here's deaths as of since June 1st. Once again, here's the moving line, here's the moving average. And you can see there are days when it closes below the moving average. Actually, I would say there's more days below this 14-day moving average than above it. So does that mean that what does that mean? Does that mean the numbers are nearly as bad as we think they are? Well, it could be. Let's take a look at obviously cases are continuing to spike. And with this is what, is this Friday? Okay. With 1 day to go this week, they're this close to either catching or passing the cases for that week. What about deaths? Deaths will probably pass, weekly deaths will probably pass uh, last week's deaths. But even so, if this is 2,000, this is 1,000. So they're having about 750 deaths per week. Okay, monthly numbers. You can see that September, unfortunately, really just rocketed past the cases. And since we just rocketed way past uh, August numbers, but but the nut but the number of deaths was relatively smaller, about 2,500, which is certainly more than the previous 3 months. But still, 2,500 deaths. Is it really that? Is that really something to scold them about? I mean, so anyway, so that concludes the report for Spain. Let me just update my database here. There will be a link to both the report, the database, and the R code. So that concludes the daily report for Spain. We'll be back in just 1 minute with the next report.